the NFL live radio show. I have XM radio in the car and on the phone. I had a chance to listen to everybody's opinions about Shedeur Sanders, whether it be the live broadcast on ESPN, NFL channel. I can't tell you the amount of bullshit, excuse my French, an amount of nonsense that I heard coming out of the mouths of people like Newhouse. Newhouse, I think, used to be a college coach at Washington back in the day, the Huskies. Then he also coached with UCLA, did a bad job there, bang up job there. And then he finds himself talking college football. He's on the college football channel on XM radio. And then I believe I heard him talking on their radio portion over the draft. And they were making all these goofy statements about, well, maybe Shedeur could go back to school. Does he have eligibility? All of this bullshit. What they did to Shedeur Sanders was to humiliate him, put him through a humiliation ritual, to underestimate, undervalue, and marginalize him. All of the issue was around, well, we don't like the fact that he has a brand called Legendary. Oh, we don't like the fact that he's on social media, on TikTok or Twitter saying he's legendary. Damn it, that's what these kids are doing today. I'm 55 years old. It's a different generation. These kids grow up on social media. Shedeur Sanders is not doing anything that any other young person is not doing. Did he steal? Did he rob? Do you hear about him doing things to females? Do you hear about Shedeur Sanders getting in any trouble since the time he was at Prime Academy? Half the time, see, the NFL, and I'm going to go on a rant here, and some people may not like what I'm saying, and some people may unsubscribe because they don't like my point of view. Well, go ahead and unsubscribe. Because what the NFL is used to is that they're used to dealing with black young men coming into the NFL who don't have a father, right? They just got their mama, right? They're used to dealing with young black males coming from college into the NFL where they come from a single mother background, where it's just their mama and they just happy. Shedeur Sanders is a different animal here. He's got both mother and father in his life. He has a big family, and he has a father who knows how the NFL works. And he has been raised by a father who is confident. Some say he was cocky in Coach Prime when he played as prime time. What the hell would you all expect Shedeur to be? He was raised by a father who was confident and instilled confidence in him. And I'm sorry, people are very uncomfortable, particularly when it comes to black athletes or black young men who exhibit confidence. And they see their confidence as, oh, they're cocky. They won't be a team player. Johnny Manziel, y'all was falling all over him. Tim Tebow, y'all was falling all over him. Tim Tebow couldn't even play in the NFL. Yes, he won 2 national championships at Florida, but could not play in the NFL, could not be a winner. And everybody was trying to find a team for him. Everybody was trying to make excuses for why he needed to be in the NFL, and you need to give him a chance. Here you got Shedeur Sanders, who should have been drafted in that first round. You can't tell me that these quarterbacks that went ahead of him were better than him. The NFL was trying to teach Shedeur a lesson, but mostly trying to send a message to his father, Deion Sanders, because they're trying to say, you're not going to control this situation. We control this situation. This is what this is all about. I'm going in on this one. I want to thank everybody that's here in the chat room who has shown up and showed out for me today. I know it's been a minute since I've gone live. I dropped a video maybe 2 weeks ago. I know it's no excuse. I need to put out more frequency of videos. Everybody, I'm I'm all over these YouTube streets. I've got the Information Man Show. I got Info Media Live. I got the new channel, Truth Media Raw. I'm all over the YouTube streets putting out content. So it's a hard balance. Then you got to deal with personal life as well. But this one, I'm not bullshitting around with you all. This one, I'm not going to bullshit around with y'all. The problem is this man right here. You see, they are jealous of what Coach Prime has done. He has taken college football by storm. Hell, you can make an argument that he's taken football by storm. They did what they did to Shedeur, to humble Shedeur, to put a ritual on Shedeur. You can't tell me that Shedeur can't play football in the NFL. When I show you some stats here, some numbers as to how he is truly rated, none of the quarterbacks that went ahead of him. Cam Ward is a great prospect. I'm not going to lie to you. Cam Ward deserved to be drafted in that first round. But guess what? Shedeur, in my opinion, even more so, deserved to be drafted in that first round. I know that there were teams that didn't need a quarterback this year, but the damn teams that certainly needed a quarterback passed on them. Didn't make any sense. Pittsburgh Steelers, what are y'all doing? Y'all don't even have a quarterback. I thought maybe he would have dropped to Pittsburgh late in the round. I thought maybe the Rams would get him just for the future. This whole situation, from start to finish, is stink to high heaven. I personally believe, not a lot of people are going to say this, I don't work for any sports network, so I can say this. Stephen A. Smith alluded to this, and I'm going to play you clips from him. That was this a form of collusion? Did the NFL owners get together just like they did with Colin Kaepernick, because they said that Colin Kaepernick lost them money and revenue? Was this owner saying, don't draft him in the first round, let him drop? Let him lose $40 to $30 million that he would have gained. And now in the fifth round, you don't get a guaranteed contract. And then they put him in a situation where he gets drafted by Cleveland and he has to deal with now having to compete with a quarterback room that's overcrowded. I'm talking about what they've thrown Shedeur into. I'm sorry, folks. I see this as a humiliation ritual. Now, can anybody in the chat room, anybody listening to this broadcast today, can you tell me, do you ever remember this happening to a quarterback? Certainly, you've had people who were slated to be drafted the number one pick at quarterback, right? And then they dropped down maybe a couple of spots, but they didn't drop all the way into the fifth or sixth or seventh round. I'm talking about guys that were slated to be a first round pick. They're talking about they didn't like Shedeur Sanders, his swagger. All these kids are into swagger today. We've had tons of quarterbacks that have come into the league that are the whiter counterparts who were cocky, came into the league cocky, did what they wanted to do, and didn't get this kind of treatment on draft day. Certainly people will drop, right? If you're slated to be a first round or second or third round pick, maybe you drop to the 14th pick. Maybe you drop to the bottom of that. Happens. That has happened. But do you slide all the way to fifth? You can't tell me that there was any quarterbacks that got drafted ahead of him that were truly better than Shedeur Sanders. Something was going on here. I've got video clips from Michael Irvin saying, hey, I want to know, how did they know he was going to be there at the fifth? Is there collusion? Are these NFL teams or owners calling other owners and say, don't do this, don't do that. We're going to teach him a lesson. We're going to show Deion Sanders that he don't control anything in the NFL. Then you have to ask yourself, do those power brokers in the NFL, do they really truly like Deion Sanders now that he's a coach and he's no longer a player? They truly like you when they can make money off of you, right? But now Deion is setting the world a storm in college football. And the question is, do they really like him? Because why would they do this? This goes all the way back, everybody, to when Deion Sanders on that podcast with, what was that podcast, $1 million worth or whatever that podcast. This goes back to when he was on that podcast and there was talk about, I don't know, there was talk that Coach Prime was saying that, hey, there's certain teams that maybe my son won't play for, right? Now, people have criticized Coach Prime and say, oh, he's part of the problem, that it was the daddy, it was Coach Prime that contribute to this happening to him. But if this is true, it's a double standard. Let's go over here to the Manning family. Here goes the Manning family. Didn't they father, when Eli was coming into the NFL, didn't he say that he would not play for the San Diego Chargers? That he put his foot down along with his family and his father and said, we going to play elsewhere. And nobody criticized Eli Manning to the right or the father. They even called them the first family to the NFL. So you can't tell me that this isn't a double standard. That it stinks to high heaven. This is a double standard. What do you think, Goddess? What do you think, Alicia? What do you all think? That it's a double standard? Because certainly when Eli Manning on the right, you got his brother right there to the left, played with the Colts, won a Super Bowl, took him forever to get his Super Bowl, but he won one. Eli Manning, who played for the Giants, I think he won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. He came into the league cocky, talking about he wasn't playing for San Diego when they were going to draft him, so much that they forced the San Diego Chargers, that's where they played at before they went to L.A., so much that they forced the San Diego Chargers to make a trade to send him to the Giants where he wanted to be. Why is it that when Coach Prime alluded to on a podcast, alluded to the fact that they might be a little iffy on teams and where he wanted Shedeur to play, why is it that they get criticized for having the same kind of thought process and the father taking, prominent role in where he wanted his son to go? Because you know that Elon Manning's father had something to do with this as well in the decision-making. But when it comes to the black father, then there's a problem, everybody. There's a problem with a black father in Deion Sanders being able to say this. Now, later on down the line, Deion took a lot of this back and said, look, Shedeur is willing to play for anybody. He already clearly said that. Now, the rumor out there is that the NFL was pissed off. I give you the damn analysis on this channel, everybody. I give you the damn analysis when I go live or when I put up an upload video. You know it's going to be premium content. I give you the analysis. It's already been put out there that there were people within the NFL who did not like Coach Prime saying that early on in the process. And the question is, did that hurt Shedeur? That they're taking out their frustration on Shedeur by way of trying to show the father, you're not in control, we're in control. Because one thing is sure about NFL owners, and Stephen A. Smith alluded to this as well, and I'm going to show you the clip, that NFL owners like to control everything. They don't like anybody bucking the system, and they see Shedeur as someone bucking the system. Now there's people making the criticism that, well, maybe Shedeur should have participated in the NFL Combine, but damn it, he had a pro day where everybody in the NFL showed up. So make this make sense. They're saying that it was because he didn't participate, and you know why? Think about it like that. What did I say about control? The NFL controls the combine. It's their home turf. Shedeur says, we're going to do a pro day. We're going to control the narrative. We're going to control the environment. I'm going to throw the players that I'm familiar with. Guess what? What other quarterbacks haven't done that? All great quarterbacks have had their own pro day. I think Shedeur got penalized because he didn't participate in the NFL Combine, and they consider it that he had bucked the system, that he was being his own man, and he would not succumb to the NFL in their control. Then you got people talking about, well, he don't have a strong enough arm. He don't have this and this and that. When you look at the comparisons, he's just as good as anybody else in this that came out in this draft. This is bullshit. We know what Shedeur Sanders is worth. We know this young man's worth. This whole situation's been bullshit, everybody. Are you with me? Put sevens in the chat room. If you're watching me on a tablet, a laptop, a desktop, hit the button that says share. Share it to your Twitter, your X, share it to your Facebook, share it to your community tab if you're a content creator. Share this video to any Colorado fan group, fan page, whatever. I'm telling you, I'm getting in on this. I'm telling y'all the truth. Y'all know I'm telling y'all the truth. Put those sevens in the chat room because, first of all, I have the best audience in the world over here. I appreciate everybody in that chat room taking time out to listen to my damn rant today because I'm fired up, I'm angry, I'm mad. I haven't done any videos in a while, and I had time to sit back and absorb all of this. I was listening to Cowherd this morning on the radio. And Cowherd, you know who Cowherd is. He's on that Fox propaganda sports channel. He sat up there and kept talking about, well, maybe Shedeur isn't that talented enough, or maybe, Shedeur is bringing a circus. These commentaries on TV and these podcasters in mainstream media are putting out propaganda and putting out bias. Cowherd kept talking about, well, maybe the NFL and the coaches and the teams, they don't want to deal with the circus. What circus does Shedeur Sanders bring to the table? What circus does he bring to the table? He's not harming anybody. He's not getting in trouble with the police. All the young man does is say legendary, and he shows that he does his little watch like this and says legendary. What? He's not harming anybody. He might put some posts on his social media. He's got a YouTube channel. What circus is he bringing to town? Most of the cameras and all the camera action and all those things that were happening was at CU because Coach Prime has a contract with Amazon Prime, and they follow the team along. Who said that Shedeur Sanders was going to bring a camera crew to follow him along? He would have to follow the rules of that football team. The NFL is very conservative. They could tell him, no, we don't want you bringing your own camera crew. They could tell him, yes, it's fine. It's great advertisement for the Cleveland Browns. Who said he's bringing a damn circus to any town? There's no circus. So he's sitting up there talking about, oh, NFL teams may not want a circus. They don't mean it. So now we're saying that the young man is a circus act. This is the type of crap that they put out here. Let me put this up. This is the problem right here. You've never seen this happen before. An NFL assistant who should be outed. We should know who he is. The worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled because his father is Deion Sanders and he comes from some money. So check this out. Everybody has a problem. Nobody had a problem with Elon Manning in the Manning family who got money. All three of them got money, right? His brother was making big time money. His father has made money in business. Nobody had a problem. Nobody called Eli Manning when he came into the league, oh, he's privileged, he's entitled. Nobody says that. But now as soon as you have a young black male whose father has coached him most of his life, has guided him, who has money, now because he comes from money, now it's an entitlement. The thing is that young people move different today. Young people today, and I'm old enough to know this, young people today move different from young people in the past. These kids do have a certain, how can I say, because of social media, where they can blow up as stars on social media. They can get on TikTok, YouTube like me, and they can these kids are able to brand themselves because of our technology and our social media. Nobody in the past could do that. So what's happening is that Shedeur Sanders is just a byproduct of the culture in his generation and the way they're able to brand themselves. Look, if we had the social media today that we didn't have in the past 30, 40, I'm 55 years old. I'm old enough to remember these things when we didn't have social media. If we were to go back 30, 40, 50 years ago, if players, the Jerry Rices, all these guys, if they had the social media then that they grew up with that these kids have today, they would be putting out memes in their social media as well. So because he's confident in himself, they want to say he's entitled. This is what this is. And people understand what I'm about to say. If you go back in history in this country, when it came to black males coming out of slavery into Reconstruction, into us being able to be at some point in time free in this country, what would happen to the black male, particularly on the slave plantation, is something called buck breaking. See, what they did to Shedeur Sanders is they wanted to buck break him. They wanted to get into his head and cause him to have stress and they wanted to humble him and cause him to doubt himself. This is what they did to him. They saw a confident young man and they said, we got to buck break him. Some of y'all in this chat room understand what I'm saying and what I'm talking about. Put sevens if you understand where I'm coming from. Look at this right here. He got drafted to the Cleveland Browns in a very crowded room. You got Deshaun Watson, who's got some type of health issue. Of course, he's gotten caught up in some scandals in the past. Kenny Pickett, who was an individual that got dumped by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we thought that Shedeur was going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Joe Flacco, who's a veteran, won a Super Bowl with the Ravens some years back. Dillon Gabriel, you can't tell me that Dillon Gabriel is better than Shedeur Sanders. Dillon Gabriel, who played at Oregon, went ahead of Sanders. Why didn't they draft? They wanted to devalue him so that they would have to pay him less money. They picked this guy up in the 3rd round, and they picked up Shedeur in the 5th round, which tells you they see Shedeur as a backup quarterback. This is another part of the humiliation ritual. This is not my normal way that I do this channel and talk about these sort of things on this channel. I like to stick to the football and get out of the politics and the racial issues. But I'm sorry, this has got it all. This is all over it. He gets picked in the 5th round on 144 round, and you telling me that Gabriel is better than Shedeur with 3rd round pick? Do y'all realize that Shedeur Sanders had the most efficiency of any quarterback in this draft? Let me show you the receipts. Over here, you get the full analysis. Over here, you get the full breakdown. Let me give this to you right now. Boom. Highest production score quarterbacks since 2025 NFL draft, y'all. Shedeur Sanders, next generation stats, powered stats by the NFL. Shedeur Sanders scored 87. Cam Ward scored 85. Jackson Dock, who went ahead of him to the Giants, had an 80. Dillon Gabriel, who got drafted in the 3rd round, is at 78. That means what, everybody? Shedeur Sanders was a more productive quarterback in his career, in his time at CU. He was the most productive quarterback in the college football scene. So why would he be drafted this late in the 5th round unless this is, in my opinion, could be allegedly collusion, them trying to teach him a lesson, them trying to send a message to Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, and trying to humble him to his ground. Which is why he came out and made these statements right here when this whole this whole humiliation ritual that they put forth on him took place. Check this out.
Thank everybody for being here. We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is, of course, fuel to the fire.
I hope, Shedeur, that it fused nothing but fuel to your fire. What they did was some BS. You had the highest production as a quarterback coming out of college football. They say that you didn't have a strong enough arm. They say that you're not as athletic. Let's say Shedeur isn't as athletic. Then how do you explain that he was able to out-production the quarterbacks that went ahead of him? So therefore, that shows you that that's all bogus. Shedeur Sanders may be more athletic than they're willing to give him credit. Is it because of his father? Is this all about Coach Prime? Or is this about they don't like a young black male who plays quarterback, has a father in his life who gives him confidence, believes in him, has worked with him most of his career, and that he comes into the league with this exuberant confidence? Technically, when black men are confident like this, we get demonized as something else, like the angry black man theory. Is there something more to this? Because I've seen quarterbacks who were Caucasian that came into the league and they were cocky. They had chips on their shoulders. Baker Mayfield, who came into the league, who plays with the Buccaneers, that dude is all kind of cocky. And now they're praising him. Let's continue.
And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't happen. But we understand we're on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless. Legendary. Ooh.
No, this isn't about crying to play in a lead. This is about the fact that he got devalued purposely. Nobody's crying. You didn't see Shedeur Sanders crying. You saw Shedeur saying, look, we didn't expect this to happen. We didn't see this coming. Something's not right here, but we're going to keep our head up. People wanted to see Shedeur Sanders crying and falling out on the floor. That's what they would have liked to have seen. That's why this was all about humiliation ritual on him. Look at this picture right here with his father. This is during the process. Coach Prime believes in his son believes in him. I'm going to tell y'all, if Shedeur Sanders ends up being a very good player in the NFL, there's going to be hell to pay. My 49ers, as I get back up here, my 49ers drafted Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy dropped to what? They got him in the 6th round. What did Brock Purdy do for the last couple of years with the 49ers? He got them to 2 NFC championships, lost one, won one, got to a Super Bowl. This is a guy that they said didn't have a strong arm, wasn't as athletic. You can't tell me that when you look at Brock Purdy with the 49ers, that Brock Purdy, in my opinion, is better than Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders overall is more athletic than Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy has proven that he can have some success. But Brock Purdy didn't drop to the 6th round as a result of the NFL trying to humiliate him. Something here doesn't jive, and Coach Prime knew it right here. Check this out.
Yeah, this is
It's so funny. It's funny when he's lost for words because
I know what's going on.
But it's funny because he never comes to a conclusion. No, he never does.
Boom. This is what they did. This is what they want. You see, Shedeur is smiling and taking everything in stride and says, my dad never comes to certain conclusions. Let me move myself off the screen. That my dad never comes to certain conclusions like this. But Shedeur is taking it all in stride. They really wanted to break him down and make him cry and whine and say, please, somebody, please pick me. No, he's taking things in stride. Coach Prime says, something's not right here, and he admits that it's because of him. And he even said that, hey, this is a perfect example of the devil at work. Let's continue.
Yeah, this is.
So funny. It's funny when he's lost for words because
I know what's going on.
but it's funny because he never comes to a conclusion. No, he never does.
No,
He's gonna be the last one to ever say
I
that.
like to have hope, and I like to trust God. Hey, God ain't it. This
ain't God.
This
the devil.
This devil.
All right. As you said, it ain't God, it's the devil. So right there, ain't nobody begging. They're recognizing what's going on. Coach Prime says himself, this is obviously the devil at work, and the devil at work is what? Individuals, I believe in the NFL, who colluded, in my opinion, I'm alleging this, those in the NFL who were being biased towards Shedeur. You can't tell me, again, how the hell that Dylan Gabriel, who had 78 ranked in terms of highest productive quarterback in the NFL draft, he's at number 78. Shedeur's at 87. He's even a few numbers ahead of Cam Ward. I'm going to say it again. Cam Ward deserved to be drafted in the first round. I just don't think that he deserved to be drafted in the first round and not Shedeur. That, to me, makes no sense. The Giants, I think they made a big mistake. If this guy, Dalton, doesn't produce for them, I think we're going to all look back on this draft and say all these teams made a big mistake. Let me say congratulations to my man, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, as you know, got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm happy for the brother. He deserved it. He was a bona fide number one player. No doubt about it, because he can do it all. He can play defensive back. He can play wide receiver. But don't ever forget that it was Coach Prime who made things possible by letting this young man play both sides of the ball, because there's many coaches in this country that would have never allowed this to happen, but it was Coach Prime. Let's give him Cheerios and claps here. Let me let you see my man, the Heisman Trophy winner, the great Travis Hunter. I think he's going to have success in the NFL. I think he went to the right team that's going to use him, because they said that the coach for Jacksonville Jaguars is open to letting him play both sides of the ball. They'll have to manage it somehow. But let me let you see in this video how this all came together for Shedeur. Check this out.
Yes, sir. I'll bust the door to the Browns. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, I can see. Let's get it. I'll turn that down. Yes, sir. My boy to the Browns, man.
All right, so there it is. You see right there, Travis Hunter giving a little bit of love to his teammate. I would love to see. I would love to know what their conversation was privately, because Travis Hunter know that this was some BS that took place. Okay, this should have never happened to Shedeur. That Shedeur was bona fide and should have been elite. I'm telling you right now. My position is that, okay, I can see that he drops. And I had said this before on my channel, that if he gets drafted lower in the round, in that first round, he would possibly go to a better team, right? I never imagined that Shedeur would drop all the way to the fifth round. I certainly thought that he would get picked up, maybe if not in the early part of the first round, which he should have, the late part of that first round. Then I said, okay, shit, this is crazy. What's going on? Then I thought, okay, he should get picked very early in the second round. He dropped out of the second round, out of the third round, out of the fourth round. Something didn't make sense here. And you can't tell me that the quarterbacks that went ahead of him are better. As I'm gonna put this up here again. His production rating is that he has the highest production score as a quarterback. Explain. Anybody in the chat room, can you explain what's going on here? None of this shit makes sense, but we do know that he has a strong father, male, black male father in his life. And I'm telling you, the NFL, they are used to black males coming into the lead from a single mama situation where they're all emotional and they're all like, mama, I'm gonna buy my mama a house. My mama was there, right? But in this situation, you got a strong black male who has the father as his background. He has the father who has cachet, right? This isn't a situation of him coming from some situation where he don't have his. See, the NFL, they love these stories of black players who grew up rough and then they didn't have a father in their life, right? They love them type of stories because they want to see you come into the league docile, weak, something damaged to you because of a lack of a father in your life. I'm not saying that there's not guys in the league that came from a single mother situation and they're not successful. But what I'm saying is that's the narrative that they stereotypically are used to, not the narrative of a father who played in the league at the highest level, is a legend, and then he's giving his son the game, giving him the insight. They didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. I'm wondering why the Cleveland Browns waited so long to draft him. The Pittsburgh Steelers could have drafted Shedeur many times around. But meanwhile, they get him in the 5th round, 144th round, which puts a backup grade on him, which is saying we're going to get you, but we ain't paying you. I don't like any of this, okay? So when he was drafted, let me put this up here. This was a meme on X. Cleveland, Buffalo, Cleveland, it's perfect timing with the 144th pick of the 2025 NFL Draft. Cleveland Browns select Shedeur Sanders, Colorado, go Buffs. Let's read this right here. We got this brother right here, Des Ward, who plays for the Cleveland Browns, who basically tells Shedeur it's time to be legendary. Let's do it. And this is why this is good that he did this. Because despite where he got drafted, everybody, all Shedeur has to do is go into this locker room, humble himself, get acclimated to the area, get acclimated to the coaching staff, get acclimated to the locker room, and prove that he belongs and prove that he's better than all these quarterbacks that they got ahead of him. Because this is a heavy, heavy quarterback room. How are they going to manage this shit? Kenny Pickett had his opportunity with Pittsburgh, prove he couldn't do it. Joe Flacco's, they got him off the streets. Okay? Dylan Gilbert is not better than Shedeur. They put a 3rd round grade on him. He's not better than Shedeur. Then Deshaun Watson has had all kind of problems off the field with women accusing him of things. I think he's had some injury problems. This shit is crazy. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterback room. Shedeur is going to have to fight, crawl, scratch, and show that he is legendary, that he can beat out any of these suckers, any of these 4 other suckers that you see on this depth chart right here I'm showing you. I'm giving you the damn analysis, everybody. I'm giving you the analysis. Now, let me let you see what Shedeur Sanders was going through emotionally as this humiliation ritual, as I call it, was taking place. Check this out.
Thank you, everybody out there, all the fans. Hey, it's not time for a song, bro. No, I'm not enough. Thank you for the fans. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for Browns organization for giving me a chance. That's all I need. Yeah! W got in the chat. It's perfect timing. It's a beautiful thing. Our belief in God. That's all we care about.
See, this is the thing that people underestimate about people, black people. We have a strong, and thank you, Sister Goddess. I am going to talk about it. Everybody in the chat room, I thank you for being here. Everybody, we got TWB, we got Carolina Red, we got Seymour, we've got, let me see what else. We got College Bound, CFL, this Ninja preaching. Thank you. Thank you. You know I'm going to preach it right. Marlon is in the house. Miss Anyway. Thank you. Hello, D. Everybody that's in that chat room. Coach G, it's good to see you, Coach G. Everybody in there, you are about it. Okay, we got Robert in there. Ripley Land. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. You all make this channel go. You are about it. Now, I'm going to say this again. I know it's been a minute since I've either gone live or dropped a video. You know, when the season comes up, I'm going to definitely be on top of it. Every time they have a game, giving you analysis. I know there's been a few new additions to the team. There's been some guys that have left the team. I haven't had a chance to do videos on those issues. But you know, when I do go live or when I drop a video, I'm going to give you the best comprehensive analysis. It's always going to be worth it when you get a video on this channel. If you're liking what you're getting today, put sevens in the chat room. Get those algorithms moving around on this channel. Appreciate you all out there for being here today. What people have underestimated about Black people in general is that we are spiritual people. We believe in God, and when things are not going right, we lay down on that foundation, which is our spiritual foundation, to carry us through. Ain't nobody crying, ain't nobody whining, and this is what they underestimated about Shedeur, Coach Prime, and the players that play for him, is that there's a spiritual foundation. If you notice, everybody, just bear with me right here. If you notice, everybody, what's been happening at CU in college football? Coach Prime has been getting criticism for his spirituality, right? You know, he always says Jesus. He always says God. He has come under scrutiny. Y'all know it. Put sevens if y'all know I'm right about this. Coach Prime has come under scrutiny because he often praises God and talks about his belief in his spirituality. And it's almost like we live in today's society where people don't want you to talk about your spirituality. Now, it's not like Coach Prime is trying to put it on everybody. He's talking about his spirituality. Well, certainly his sons are built the same way. And so the NFL, in engaging in their humiliation ritual, because that's what it was, and engaging in what I believe, allegedly, in my opinion, was collusion, because they did it with Colin Kaepernick. Doing what they did, they thought they could completely break this young man, give him stress, give him worry, and create self-doubt. But because of his strong foundation and having a strong father that's been there, they can't destroy Shedeur. They can't crumble him. Shedeur said, look, we're going to do things differently. You know, like they criticized him in some of the interviews. And this is the thing. How do we know that Shedeur Sanders was really that bad in his interviews when none of us were there? How do we not know that they just said what they said about him because they were uncomfortable with his confidence? Let's continue.
We know these decisions, things happen. Yeah. Sometimes it's adversity. We got to change it, though. We got to do different.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do different.
All right. Shedeur Sanders said, we got to change it. We got to do something different. So that shows you a young man who understands the situation. Okay? Now, what I want to get to next, and I hope y'all are enjoying the presentation. I've got more. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Another part of this humiliation ritual that should have never happened is this situation right here. You all heard about the crank call. And it's funny how they don't want to show the face. There go the sucker's face right there. There go his face. Jack Aubrick, the son of Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Aubrick. Jeff Aubrick played for my San Francisco 49ers. He was a linebacker with the San Francisco 49ers. Now he's a defensive coordinator, I believe, or assistant with the Atlanta Falcons. His son, Jack Aubrick, has released a statement apologizing for his prank call to Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. I hope you forgive me. you piece of you know what. What he did is he went into his father's, I think they had Shedeur Sanders' number in some type of book or, whatever, however they have it written down in their paperwork. The son goes into Jeff Aubrick. Had no business going into his father's personal football-related material, got Shedeur Sanders' number, and proceeded to give him a crank call and make him think that he was being drafted by the NFL to the Falcons. You see what they're doing? You see the crap that's... Why is Shedeur Sanders' number being exposed that his son can get his hands on it in the first place? This sucker right here. Let's let you see his face real good. Right there. There go the son of Jeff Aubrick. The son, this is Jack Aubrick, who now wants to say, I hope Shedeur will forgive me. Man, you should have never did this crap in the first place. Let's read this crap right here, y'all. Y'all know I got the goddamn analysis on this channel. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload or a video. I'm fired up over here today. And if there's any trolls in there that come in here saying anything the opposite of what we're talking about over here, you get them out of here. That's to the mods. We got Angel Eyes. Good to see you, my sister, Angel Eyes. Now check this out. On Friday night, I made a tremendous mistake. Yeah, you did. You also put your father's career at risk because they could fire your father for this nonsense. Shedeur, what I did was completely insensible, unconscionable, embarrassing, and shameful. I'm so sorry I took away from your moment. It was selfish and childish. I could never imagine getting ready to celebrate one of the greatest moments of your life. You know, he was made to do this by his father. Y'all know this, right? And I made a terrible mistake and messed with the moment. Thank you for accepting my call early today. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. Shedeur Sanders. Now check this out. Shedeur gets, the NFL puts Shedeur through a ritual of embarrassment or trying to embarrass him. Say that he's cocky, he's too this and that. We don't like the fact that he has the branding called legendary. Shedeur hasn't done any harm to anybody, but here you have a son of an NFL coach who does something so nasty, so unforgivable, right? But Shedeur drops, goes all the way down to the 5th round because they got this misunderstanding of him. But here you got the real bad culprit, a damn son of a coach who shows no character, he's a son of a coach. These coaches are asking for these players to show character, to show a degree of respect. Here you got the son's coach who doesn't even exemplify what the coach of the Atlanta Falcons is expecting of Shedeur Sanders. Tell me I'm not cooking right now. If I'm not cooking, you're wrong. If you know damn well I'm cooking over here. Damn it, y'all know I'm cooking over here with grease and every damn thing. Why did this happen to Shedeur? All the drafts that we've ever had over the years, this has never happened to any quarterback coming into the NFL draft, whether they were drafted in the 1st round, 2nd, 7th, 6th, 5th, whatever, 4th. This is pure. Let me have a drink. Of water, of course. Man, I tell you, everybody, let me let y'all hear with my man, Ryan Clark, who always keeps it real from the Pivot Podcast. Check him out.
What people are willing to give you or spend on you.
Every time.
No matter what we think about Shedeur Sanders' tape, no matter what Shedeur Sanders thinks about his tape or what he's put on film to this point, they let him know tonight. 32 teams. Right? The Giants twice, the Atlanta Falcons twice let you know we don't need you. And that's okay. That's their right. Like, that's their job. They are staking their job on.
Coach G, yeah, he should be arrested because what he did was, just imagine this. Imagine if Shedeur had have done what he did. What would everybody be saying about Shedeur Sanders right now, everybody, if he had pulled the same crap that was pulled on him? What would everybody be saying? Huh? What is Coach Prime thinking about? All that Shedeur has been through. What would everybody be saying if Shedeur pulled the same type of tactics against anybody who was hoping to come into the lead? You see the hypocrisy of it all, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm laying down here today? This whole thing is hypocrisy from these coaches or some anonymous coach saying the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. You idiot. He didn't have a great offensive line his first year. They were patching things up the second year. And yes, we can admit that there were times when Shedeur Sanders held onto the ball a little bit too long, but also he didn't have the greatest offensive line. We all can attest to that. Can't we? And then he goes on to say this crap right here. He has horrible body language. He blames his teammates. When the hell did we ever see Shedeur Sanders blame anybody? He always took accountability. These are lies coming from NFL assistant coach who's now hiding behind this shit. We should know who his name is so that we can call him out directly. But the biggest thing is he's not that good. Hating on him, see? So, if you don't think he's that good, that's your prerogative. But everything else that you're seeing this is a personal shot. This is a personal shot. Let's continue.
The names that they call tonight, right? On the person whose phone they hit up and say, hey, man, are you ready to be? Nobody felt that way about Shedeur Sanders, and he has to own that. That doesn't mean he's not a good football player. That doesn't mean he's not talented. That doesn't mean he doesn't have the potential to be great. But what it meant was these 32 teams don't think you were better than the opportunities that they had to pick other people.
Wait a minute now. The opportunities that they had were not that great. Shedeur Sanders was the number one quarterback in this draft. People would say, well, no, he's number two. It's Cam Ward. He had the most productive efficiency of any quarterback in the draft. There go the numbers right there on the screen for you to see. Dillon Gabriel got picked third ahead of him. Dillon Gabriel is not better than Shedeur Sanders. All you got to do is look at the productive numbers. I thought it was about production. I thought it was about the best quarterback who is the most productive quarterback. Dillon Gabriel didn't do anything in college football that made you say, oh, my God, he should be drafted ahead of even Shedeur Sanders. So this is where I disagree with Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark, you failed to look at this breakdown that I'm putting up here on the screen, brother. Let's continue.
And you got to wear that. This is his first bit of public football adversity. And I'm not talking about going to Colorado and playing with a bad offensive line and being on a bad team. Because even through that, he was shining.
Right.
Like, even through that, he was making plays. You got a superstar.
Ladies and gentlemen, put sevens in the chat room. Didn't Shedeur Sanders do things, particularly in that second year? Didn't Shedeur Sanders do things when he had adversity, when he was in adverse situations? Didn't he still get up and fight through all the sacks that he took? He was the most sacked quarterback in college football. Yeah, there were times that he should have gotten rid of the football, but there were times when he didn't have time to get rid of the football because the defense was already in his face. Remember when Shedeur would take a beating in games, right? Physically. But he would get up and he would fight through it. Isn't that what I thought that's what the NFL is looking for. Players that don't quit, players that are tough. They didn't see his toughness. And through all of that, he never threw any of his teammates under the bus. He could have certainly done so because there were certainly guys on that offensive line that first year that were not putting out their production like they were supposed to. And yes, he did hold onto the ball every now and then a little bit too long. But that's something that can be fixed. That's something that can be adjusted. He knows it. Let's continue.
That are there to see you week after week after week. But that's always been attached to your father, too. And I'm not saying he's only gotten things because of that, but you mentioned Deion's guidance. It hasn't been, I'm your father, I'm going to guide you from afar.
Right.
It's been lockstep every step of the way. This was the first situation Deion Sanders couldn't control.
Yeah. ...
What you going to do now?
Yes.
How you going to show up? You're supposed to have a chip on your shoulder, but do you show up ready to work? Do you show up with the humility that you got to show up with now because you're not a first-round pick?
Let me stop it right there. We know that Shedeur is going to go to work. He's going to show up. He's going to do what he has to do to be productive. He's got a whole big depth chart he's going to have to battle against with the Kenny Pickett of the world, the Joe Flacco's of the world, and now Dillon Gabriel. So what they did is the Browns drafted him, but they put him in a situation that he's really going to have to battle through the situation to prove himself. And that's great because by proving himself, he has the chip that he needs on his shoulder to go out there and say, I got to be at my best every time I step on the practice field. I have to be at my best. And I certainly believe that Shedeur will do what he needs to do to be at his best, y'all. Let's go into the next video here. That's Ryan Clark from the Pivot Podcast. Shout out to him and the Pivot Podcast. This is the one I've been waiting to show y'all. This is the Stephen A. one that I've been waiting to show y'all. Check this out.
With this supposed arrogance, still bald, he still threw for over 4,100 yards.
Let me stop it right there, bring that back because it cut off a little bit. Here we go.
With this supposed arrogance or whatever, he's still bald. He still threw for over 4,100 yards, still threw for 37 touchdowns, still threw for just 10 interceptions, still proved himself to be one of the better quarterbacks in football. Tremendous pause, pocket presence, accuracy, throwing the damn football.
Boom. So why in the hell that he dropped to the 5th round? It is obvious, again, everybody, that they were trying to teach him a lesson. This was about Coach Prime. It was about their humiliation ritual. Why would he fall to the 5th round when he clearly had put up numbers, had shown what he could do on video, on film, as they call it? Dillon Gabriel got drafted in the 3rd round to the Cleveland Browns. Why would they draft him ahead of Shedeur with that skills that he had? And why would they draft someone higher than Shedeur and then come back and get Shedeur at 5th unless they knew he was going to be there? Because, as I said, I believe there was some collusion. I'm alleging, it appeared that way to me as someone looking at this as a fan of football and a person who got some damn common sense. It didn't make sense unless they knew he was going to be there because they knew nobody else was going to touch him. And then again, why would the Pittsburgh Steelers draft a quarterback? I think they drafted a quarterback. Or why would the Pittsburgh? I don't care if they're getting Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers, when he came out of college, he dropped in the draft too. But he didn't drop to the 5th. He dropped in the 1st round, but still got picked up by Green Bay. Why would the Steelers, who need a quarterback, why would they pass? Because Aaron Rodgers is not going to be there forever. I don't seem to understand this. Let's continue, Stephen A.
Didn't have great wheels, doesn't have great athleticism, but the brother can play. I certainly never heard of no damn Dillon Gabriel.
Right.
Or Tyler Shock.
Right. Did you hear Tyler Shock? I think Tyler Shock's the guy that got picked up by the Steelers. What is going on?
What the hell is that?
Right.
I didn't hear about them.
Right.
So how is Shedeur Sanders going behind them? I'll tell you how.
Right.
It's collusion. And why do I bring up Kaepernick? Because I keep reminding everybody that the owners, I'll never forget this as long as I live. The owners in the National Football League are very big on control.
Right. Like I said.
And Colin Kaepernick's position really railed them. It really riled them up, irritated them, because $146 million a piece because of their TV rights deal.
Right. They lost money
They were
because
mad
of
it
Colin
wasn't
Kaepernick.
250 to 255. They blamed Colin Kaepernick.
That's facts. That's facts, y'all. Woo, this is crazy, y'all. Here go another one from Stephen A. He's breaking it down some more. Check this out.
When they talk, they said,
Let's bring this back again. Here we go.
when they talked about it, they said stuff like him sending out tweets tagged with hashtag legendary. They talked about him appearing to have more of an interest in his own brand, and that he thinks about that more than he thinks about the team or the league.
What Stephen A. Smith is breaking down is that he talked to some insiders in the NFL who gave their analysis of the situation. And as I said to you all earlier in this program, as I told you, I bring the analysis on this channel like no other. As I told you before, Stephen A. Smith said that the insiders, people that are inside this beltway of the NFL, said that there were NFL personnel who had issues with the fact that Shedeur Sanders has sort of a celebrity aura to him, that he had his own brand, legendary. They didn't like him tweeting that. See, this is about control. They want him to be a good old boy. They wanted to buck break him. They want him to be a good old boy and just get along and acquiesce to what we want you to do, boy. They didn't like that he was his own man. They took personal issues with him. Instead of looking at his football skills, they were too caught up in what they didn't like and what they perceive his personality to be. And then this whole notion that, oh, Shedeur is going to bring a circus to your team. What circus? Let's continue, Stephen A.
They talked about if he was more buttoned up and all about ball and team as opposed to himself, he would have fallen no later than number 21 in the draft to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Instead, he fell to 144, and they call it a minimum of a $30 million mistake.
Boom. $30 million to $40 million money lost because of him dropping. Because remember, when you get drafted any round after the first round, your money is not guaranteed. They can give you any little contract, and now they can give Shedeur Sanders peanuts compared to what he was going to make if he was drafted in that first round. Like I said, again, I think they didn't like the fact that Coach Prime was very confident about his sons, and I don't think they really liked the fact this situation was based on this is personal. They didn't like the things that Coach Prime said. They didn't like the confidence that they saw as cockiness out of Shedeur Sanders. This is what they felt, which I call cap on it. I call BS on it. Let's continue.
That's what they said. They also pointed out how it was the perfect year to come out in the quarterback class because it's the lightest, weakest quarterback class in a long time.
Let me read this here. Jerome Gilbert says Stephanie we got fresh off the coach. Fitness says Shedeur Sanders, the people's champ. Yeah, he is the people's champ. Joy O, he will make back all the money he lost and earn more. Right. You got endorsements. And if he plays well, he's going to get the endorsement. A lot of these professional athletes, y'all know, make more money in endorsements than they do playing football. You know, Michael Jordan didn't make a lot of money in comparison to what the players make in the NBA today. When Michael Jordan was playing in the NBA, most of his big money was coming from the endorsements, such as his shoes, the Air Jordan, and all the other things he was doing on the outside of the sport, in comparison to what these guys are making today. Okay, just want to make that clear. Let me see. Everybody in the chat room, I salute you all. I thank you all. Let me give you a clap here.
Tell the truth.
We got a PGH Big Dog says Manny didn't get this treatment. Right, I talked about this. I don't know if you were in the chat room when I talked about this, brother, but I brought the Manny family up right here. I'm going to say this again. When Elon Manning was coming into the NFL and ended up going to the Giants, it's because his father and his family, they forced the NFL hand. They said, no way, damn it, are we playing for the San Diego Chargers because they were a bad franchise. So he pushed and forced San Diego to trade him to the Giants to go where he wanted to go. And the rest is history. He got 2 Super Bowls, and nobody criticized the Manning family. Nobody called Elon Manning a cocky you-know-what. Nobody was concerned about, oh, the father is being cocky. The father is trying to buck the system. And his father played in the Archie Manning, played in the NFL, played for the New Orleans Saints, and he was a loser football player with the Saints, by the way, everybody. They always lost their games, right? But despite his losing career, he's not in the Hall of Fame. He didn't win championships like Deion Sanders, like Coach Prime. He's not in the Hall of Fame or any of those type of things. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, has, in my opinion, has more of a pedigree and more status to be able to pull this move with his son than Archie Manning ever had with Elon, because Archie Manning, although he was sort of a decent quarterback, never won anything, never won no Super Bowl, and played on garbage New Orleans teams. I'm telling the truth. But why can't the Sanders family get the same type of treatment when, damn it, Deion is a legendary and is in the Hall of Fame of the NFL and has more status, in my opinion, than Archie Manning, in my opinion, who pulled the maneuver with Elon Manning. It's a double standard, y'all. It's bias, and that's my whole theme today. This whole thing is about bias, y'all. It's about bias. This whole thing is about bias. Let's get back over here to Stephen A. Play just a little bit more of what he's talking about right here.
So a late 1 pick could easily turn into a top 10 because of position and need. But that didn't happen with him because of his bravado, his brand, his swagger, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have people talking about how he possibly should just sue the NCAA to get his eligibility back. Possibly pay Ryan Day or somebody so he could throw the ball to Smith for 1 year and then re-enter the NFL draft, rather. I don't know what the possibilities or likelihood of that happening, but basically between primetime Deion.
Let me stop this right there. Why in the hell would Shedeur Sanders have to go through that type of route just to get in the NFL? No other quarterback had to do that. Why would the mainstream media making those suggestions? Like I said, everybody, I listen to mainstream media on the radio, the broadcast. It was so much BS that was being said about Shedeur, so much crap, so many bad scenarios. This scenario that he's talking about right now is a bull crap scenario, y'all. Terrible scenario. Nobody else has been given these scenarios.
Sanders' natural bravado, coupled with that of his son. They say that the whole interview process wasn't that impressive when he showed up at the NFL scouting combine and refused to work out. That hurt him. The interview process while he was there hurt him, et cetera, et cetera. You know.
Wait a minute. When did it came out? When was it said that Shedeur Sanders refused to work out? What I think happened here, everybody, and I'm gonna move out of this right quick. What I think happened here, everybody, is that I think Shedeur Sanders was given bad information by the lead. Because there have been players in the past who didn't participate in the combine, or certain things because they were told by NFL teams that wanted to draft them, don't participate in this. Matter of fact, it was put out there that it was NFL scouts that told Shedeur Sanders not to participate. I believe, what was it, the Senior Bowl or something like that? Wait a minute. If I'm not mistaken, Cam Ward didn't work out. Cam Ward didn't participate in the Senior Bowl. Am I wrong or right, everybody? Cam Ward didn't work out at the NFL Combine. He did an individual workout at Miami. I'm telling you, this is a personal, the NFL and the brash of the NFL and the personnel and the scouts, this was personal, what they did to Shedeur Sanders. On so many levels. I'm here to tell you, I believe that even if Shedeur Sanders would have participated in the NFL Combine, and this whole thing about he didn't work out for the coaches, that's BS. He had a pro day, and in the pro day he worked out for all 32 NFL teams that showed up. It was the largest crowd for a pro day. If Shedeur Sanders this is crazy, y'all. I'm losing my words of thought here. Let's listen to Michael Irvin.
Fucks me up. All right, guys, I got to talk about this again. This gets to be something else. Even I said, all right, I made my peace with this on the Shedeur Sanders front when I said, okay, then maybe you can find some things. If somebody wants to say stuff, oh, well, you're just not a first round pick. You're not a top 5 pick. You're not a top 10 pick. You're not a top 20, whatever. But he's not even in the top 3 rounds.
Right, top 3 rounds. See? Wait a minute. Even Michael Irvin knows this is crap. This is a veteran of the NFL. This is a man who played with the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s, won them Super Bowls. This man was legendary receiver too. He was up there with the Jerry Rices of the world. Even you got ex-football players, veterans that saw this and said, wait a minute. Even Stevie Wonder, and he's blind, can see that this was some BS, y'all.
Whoa. The whole Shedeur Sanders situation has gotten scary for me now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of an idealist.
No, Michael, you know that everything that took place in that draft around Shedeur Sanders was cap. It was BS.
And I still have too much faith in people because I cannot in any way make my brain.
Now, let me read this statement here because I like it. You said all this conjecture is just a lazy justification for them to discriminate against him. Interesting. Goddess is putting 777s in there. Thank you, my sister. Miss Anyway, it says correct. Mrs. Williams is in the house. Man, everybody, thank you for coming over and supporting this channel today. I know I haven't been live or uploaded a video in maybe 2 weeks now. I am gonna I got to figure out my schedule because I'm managing so many different channels. but I am going to be putting up content as we get close to the CU season, where I can now focus on everything that's happening at CU, the new players. Everybody know, I will be doing a uploaded video where I want to talk about the guys to me that stand out in the spring practice. The guys that I think are the guys that are going to be the new emerging stars on CU's team this upcoming season, and that I'm looking very forward to seeing what they can do. But I'm very blown away by this whole situation. I got to be honest, y'all. The whole situation is crazy. Let me do something right here. Let me let this continue. Sorry.
Put together something to make my soul believe that in some way this is collusion.
Collusion
By the NFL.
Yes, that is what I believe is the case here. It is my belief system, my opinion.
But I can't also, on the same token, make all the sensory receptors in my brain come up with the understanding of why he has not gotten drafted. Fucks me up. All right, guys, I got to talk about this again.
So you see, he's very. This is crazy, everybody. Let's hear some more from Michael when Shedeur was finally drafted by the Cleveland Browns and what his thoughts are about this whole situation. Let me let you see this. Check this out.
But I surely would like to know how they knew he would still be there in the 5th round. I surely would like to know, with the value placed on quarterbacks, I don't care if you had a star quarterback, if you have a Patrick Mahomes or anybody, you don't leave this kind of talent in the draft. You would take a quarterback and say, let me just hold him, somebody get a quarterback hurt.
Right.
I could take him in the 3rd, 4th round. I could have taken him in the 3rd, 4th round, and I guarantee you, right now, if everybody's working together because we want to teach them a lesson, that's one thing.
Boom. See? Michael Irvin believes what I believe. Stephen A. Smith has the same philosophy that this may be collusion. This is our opinions. This is Michael Irvin. He played in the lead. He's saying everybody want to teach him a lesson.
But somebody goes down in week 1 or in the preseason, and the head coach's job is on the line, here they're making a damn phone call. Can I get that quarterback, please? I'll give you something.
Right.
You know? So the value of quarterbacks, even if you had a quarterback, and once I get that 3rd, 4th round, I'm going to take a guy anyway. And nobody did.
So what Michael Irvin is basically saying, everybody, in a nutshell, is that the value of a quarterback is so important in the NFL that you have teams that will get on the phone and say, hey, I need that quarterback, right? Because their starter gets knocked down, he gets hurt, he's out for the season. All these sort of things happen. And he's saying that that's why he's shocked that Shedeur dropped so far down, because these teams actually value quarterbacks even more so because it's a quarterback-driven lead. Everybody, let's hear some more.
Nobody.
This shit is crazy. Once again, Shedeur Sanders, for those of you coming into the stream late, has the highest production score of any quarterbacks in this draft that got drafted ahead of him. Higher than even Cam Ward at 87, Cam Ward's at 85, Jackson Dart at 80%, and Dylan Gabriel, who went in the third round ahead of him, at 78. What was it about Dylan Gabriel that they valued more than Shedeur Sanders? Other than it was personal, everybody, because you can't tell me that he's better than Shedeur Sanders. You can't tell me that. That's some BS if you actually believe that. Once again, congratulations to my man, you know him, Travis Hunter, on his draft status. He's a no-brainer to be picked in the first round. No doubt about that in my mind. I want to thank everybody for being here. Let me something else I want to show you. I want to talk about. Let me talk about these young men right here. I'm very excited. I really thought that Jimmy Horn Jr. would go higher in the draft because he was very impressive, right? But let's give him a clap. Jimmy Horn Jr., wide receiver, was selected by the Carolina Panthers in the 6th round, number 208 overall. I wish my 49ers would have drafted him because they damn sure need a fast receiver. And the 49ers had the most picks in the draft. They had 11 draft picks. But Jimmy Horn will be with the Panthers playing in North Carolina, number 208 overall, 6th round pick. Congratulations to the brother. Wow, this is something else, y'all. Let's go to the next man that I like. LeJohntay Wester. Yeah. LeJohntay Wester, everybody, wide receiver selected by the Baltimore Ravens. That's a good spot for him to be because they could use him in special teams. They could use him on punt returns. We'll see how his career evolves. He was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in the 6th round, number 203 overall. Give him a clap again. And I'm hoping that there'll be other Colorado Buffs players that will get a unrestricted opportunity to sign to a team. I'm talking about people who really deserve an opportunity, right? I think there's another player for CU who got an invite. His name, I'm losing. He's not like a big name, but he's someone that played on the team. And I think he got an invite either to the Broncos training camp or something. We're going to hear, and I'm going to go deeper into my research to find out who are the guys who played for CU. Like my man Cameron Craig, Cam. Let's see him up here. My man right here, Will Shepard, right? Shadozi. Where will, Shallow Sanders end up? Where will he end up signing? Who will he end up signing with? Shallow Sanders. Okay. Who will my man Cameron, my man Seaman Craig, who will he get an opportunity to try to work out and play for? So I'm really curious to see where these other guys get their opportunities, the ones that weren't drafted, that will be unrestricted free agents. What teams will give them an opportunity to show what they can do? What has happened to Shedeur Sanders in this scenario is a damn shame, everybody. Can nobody tell me different, that this was an orchestration to make him look bad, to make him look silly, to break him down, to buck break him, to humble him, because there are people in the NFL, in my opinion, who had a personal issue with Shedeur. It wasn't so much that he can't play the game, but it's so much that they are trying to humble him in a humiliation ritual. That's my opinion about it. You may say, nah, man, you off your rocker. We don't believe that. No, I believe it based on this right here you see on the screen with coaches talking this type of nonsense. They have a problem with Shedeur Sanders because they really have a problem with Coach Prime. This is what this is really all about. And he comes from a strong family background, and I don't think they're used to that. They're used to these black male football players coming into the league from a broken family situation, right? Crying on the floor, right? Thank you, Roger Goodell. I'm gonna buy my mama a house kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about, everybody.
Tell the truth.
That's what they want to see. They don't want to see a strong, upright young man like this. They don't want to see that. They want to see him tap dancing and buck dancing around. Oh, yeah. I call it like it is, y'all. The NFL is a monster like that, y'all. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, share this video on all your social media. It's been great breaking this down to you. You don't know how much it took for me to hold back a lot more things I want to say. I probably said way too much as is, okay? Because this is not a political channel. I don't want to use this channel to get into racial issues. I just want to keep it just straight football so that it resonates with everybody, right? But I'm sorry, I can't sit back and with a channel like this and see what happened to Shedeur Sanders and sit up here and just act like, oh, it ain't no big deal. He just got picked in the 5th round. Ooh, it ain't because they were they wasn't colluding against him. It's just because, they just didn't want to draft him that high. But no, not going to play that game. We know everything that took place in that draft was pure BS. It was pure cap. If you all agree with me, put 7s in the chat room right now because I would appreciate that. Once again, double standard between the Manning family in comparison to the double standard or lack of standard that goes to the Sanders family. And we can make an argument that Coach Prime should have more status and more cachet given to him than Archie Manning, who wasn't even a Hall of Fame football player as a quarterback when he was in the lead. Now, am I wrong? Let me correct something. Maybe I'm wrong. Everybody in the audience, was Archie Manning, is he in the Hall of Fame? Let me look this up because somebody out there is going to say, you wrong. He was a Hall of Fame player. Let me see. Did Archie Manning get inducted to the NFL Hall of Fame? Maybe he did. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I was right. I'm not a fool today. Archie Manning was not inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. However, he did have a distinguished career in the NFL playing for 13 years. 13 years, mostly with the New Orleans Saints. How could his career be distinguished when the Saints were losers during those years? 13 seasons, mostly with the Saints, and he was selected to two Pro Bowls. Wow, two Pro Bowls. Give him some popcorn and a hot dog, y'all. Now, don't get me wrong. That's an accomplishment in the NFL to go to 2 Pro Bowls, but that ain't legendary. That ain't Deion Sanders stats, right? Okay, he was selected to 2 Pro Bowls. He also had successful post-football career. Yeah, a post-football career as a businessman outside of football, man. Come on. Coach Prime is successful as a football player. He was an All-American college football player. He's in the Hall of Fame of college football, Hall of Fame of NFL football. He was successful as a broadcaster on TV, successful so far as a coach and a businessman in his own right. Damn it. Come on now, give him a clap. Woo, man, I'm going in on it today because I got to go in on it today, y'all. I had to go in on it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today. I put it all on the line for you. For those of you who still going to stick on the channel and continue watching the videos, thank you. For those of you who want to unsubscribe because I had to sit up here and tell the truth, you never really was with me in the first place on this channel, okay? Sometimes we have to tell the
truth.
So those of you who are subscribed to this channel, I want to thank you for still sticking with the channel and rocking with me. We're going to come back with more content. I know I got to put up more content and keep the channel through the algorithms and keep you informed about things that are going on and making videos so that we can, as a family on this channel, come together, analyze things, and break things down, okay? Keep in mind that when I do go live or when I do produce a video, you know you're getting a top-notch video. I don't get up here on my channel and just be on here talking and just talking a bunch of nonsense and just putting out content. I don't give y'all clickbait content. There's people that do give you clickbait content where they'll tell you, breaking news, I got the breaking news on something. And then you find out that their news that they're telling you ain't no breaking news, right? But they're trying to make it look like they the only ones that knew about it, right? I don't do that. I don't gaslight y'all with all this clickbait titles and clickbait, all this clickbait stuff. I just give you straight breakdowns of what's happening when it comes to CU, and I give you breakdowns when it comes to players like Shedeur Sanders. Everybody, take care. I love you. Peace to you. Angel Eyes, Fancy, thank you for being a great mod out there. Goddess, thank you for being a great mod. Everybody, Alicia, everybody rocking with me. Peggy Roster coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. We'll be back with more presentation. We'll be back. We'll be back. Stick with the channel. You know, once again, when I upload or put out videos, they are quality. You're getting quality from the content. With that said, everybody, take care.
Information is power. Information is power.
Peace.
Information is power.
Listening to the information. Man, production of the Prime Sports Media. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
tell the truth.